Hey guys, so any doubt regarding the lectures? I did get one doubt through the email, so I will discuss about it. But before that, if you have any doubt about the lectures, okay, then we will come back to the problems. Okay. So through email, I got some doubt regarding the first one was the node. How do you decide the node? Okay, so node is for a certain kind of problem only it will appear. Okay, that really means that there is one place which is not moving. Not moving means there is no longitudinal movement. For example, if there is a spring here and a spring here, yeah, so like this one, so the movement will be, it is a mean position, so there will be some point about which this will move, either it will go up and go like this one. So a point where this is located is called node. Yeah, so this is regarding how do you decide the node. So that is one question. This kind of problem where you have a bar connecting to springs, because of that it happens. Okay, second thing is how do you decide something is predominantly something? So predominant mode, or predominant, basically the coordinate. You can coordinate. Coordinate. Okay. So what is the meaning of that? So those things, although uh, I did not cover in the lectures, but in problems it is solved when there's some solution on one of the example problems, and there, the problem is explaining that this mode will be predominant and like that. So what is the meaning of that? Okay. So okay. So before we actually do it, so let's look at the problem itself, and from there first we will derive it, and then from there we will or maybe let me explain here only. Okay, so it's good to go. Okay, now what is the meaning of that? So basically you have to know the meaning of what you call it, the mode shape, right? It's a mode shape. When you say shape, or simply mode also. So what you do, first you have equation of equilibrium or equation of motion. Okay, then second you solve it, solve the eigenvalue problem, right? Eigenvalue problem. And what you find out, you find out eigenvalues. Right? So eigenvalues. So lambda equal to lambda 1, lambda 2, where you know that lambda 1 equal to omega 1 square, lambda 2 equal to omega 2 square. So are you able to follow? Do you hear me? So I should have asked at the beginning itself, but I'm asking you now. So is it clear so far?
Yes,
what
sir.
I'm talking?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, nice. Okay, so you got the two eigenvalues, and then what you do? You put these back into the equation, the eigenvalue problem, right? And then corresponding eigenvectors you can find out, right? So eigenvectors you find out, right? So we can those eigenvectors, we called it, you remember, we called it a, we call it a naught I, right? So if there are two of them, in this case the 2-degree of freedom system, so it will have a01 and a02. So two eigenvalues. These are, remember, these are vectors. So there will be two components. So which all components? So a naught, for example, a naught 1 will be equal to, will be a naught 1 1 and a naught 2 1, right? There will be two of them. Yeah, these are two scalars basically. Yeah. Similarly, this one, the other one, you can write as a. Let's write it here. So we can write a naught 2 is equal to. We'll have a naught 2. Sorry, not like that. So a 2, second one, 0 1, a 2, 0 2. So again, these are scalar, both of them are scalar, but together this is vector. Right? This is vector, this is scalar, individual. Right? These are scalar. Okay, so two of them. Okay. So next thing will be, in order to find out node, how do you find out the node? Okay, so far we have this story. So preserve this one, we'll go back here. Okay, so I'm going to delete this. Yeah, and what is the meaning of node basically? Now you can actually draw it, right? So let us say you have one spring here, the second spring here, yeah, like this one. And let us say we call the here our coordinates are this one, x1 and x2. So these two, ours maybe this one is x1, this is x2. These are our two coordinates, and these two correspond to them. So this one is basically tells me what is the amplitude of x1. The first one is amplitude of x1, right? So the first one, amplitude of x1, amplitude of x1. Second one, these two, a2, like a02, right? A02. This is amplitude of x2. Yeah, now see here, our x is what? X is equal to x1, x2, right? Hence the solution, corresponding solutions are like we have amplitude. If you remember, we called it a naught. Remember, we called it a1, a naught, and then the solution was, we called it x1 was a1 and a2. We called it like this one, right? And then it was sine omega t, something like we did, right? Like this one. So here a1, a2 is what? We got two basically. Together we call a naught, right? So a naught is a vector. A naught is a vector which has two components, a1 and a2, and for omega 1, right? For omega 1, we got a naught equal to a 0 1 1, right? This is what we get. Then a 0. This will be for the second one, 0 2 1. For omega 1, a naught is given by a01, a02, and first one. For omega 2, we have a naught is equal to a01, a02, but second one now, number 2. These are the solutions. Any confusion so far? Are you with me? We got two sets of solutions basically, right? So this whole thing, we wrote it as, whole thing was a naught sine omega t. We write like this one, right? Where a naught is a vector is given by a1 over a2. But thing is, there are two sets of solution because there are two omegas. For each omega, there is a solution. There is a different a1 and a2. How different? If w omega 1, a naught becomes a naught 1 for omega 1, a naught 2 for omega 1. For omega 2, we have a naught equal to a naught 1 for omega 2, a naught 2 for omega 2. So 2 2 here, 1 1 here. So we have two different solutions basically, right? Now, You are with me so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now next is plotting basically, and you will find out. Yeah. So plotting, you know that the if let us say first mode is active, both can independently be active. You know, not necessarily they will be both will be together. It is possible that this is active, first one, this is not active. If this is active, then what happens? If the first mode is active, then if x1 is this much, the x2 is this much, right? So how do you plot? So if x1 is, let us say you plot like this. Here you take a naught 1, and here you take a naught 2 for first one. So number 1 superscript, right? Then you do like this. Yeah, that means when the first one x1 is a naught 1 and x2 is a naught 2, this bar will look like something like this one. Yeah. So okay, similarly when this is 0, when this will be 0, this will be, both will be 0. When x1 is 0, x2 will be also 0 because it's the same phase, right? So both will be 0. Now if omega t equal to 180 degree, yeah, so both of them will be negative, right? So if this when x1 is here by minus a1 0 1, this will be also here, a value will be minus a02, right? So you can have, so you see the mode of variation will be either it will go up like this, then it will go down. So the variation mode will be like something like this. See here, it will go like this one. So something like both. Just look at the both ends of my hand. You know. So here, like from here to here, if you look, both ends are going up, but one person going more up than other one, right? So this type of vibration it will have. Yeah, but both is sync, right? So this is what you can find out node by extending both of them. Means which place will be, they will be meeting. Either they like you have to just draw these lines wherever it meets, you get the node, or you could have just extended this mean position also, you will get the same point. So intersection of the actual bar at its highest position, the amplitude position basically, you extend that, and the mean position you extend wherever it meets is will be a node. So you call it node. Yeah, clear so far? Clear, guys? Yes, no, what? For further explanation?
Up till now, it's clear.
Yeah, okay. So now what happens in this case, this particular mode, it may be that both are positive, meaning that if this goes up, this also goes up, maybe different values, but still both are going up. That means when this is at mean position, this will also be at mean position. This is, if this is going down, this will also go down, but it will be larger. Let us say, yeah, it's because this is because if a naught 2 is greater than a naught 1, in that case it will happen like this. But it's possible that one is positive and one is negative, meaning that let us say second mode. Is it possible that in second mode, a naught 1 is a negative number? Yeah, or ratio is negative. Meaning that one goes up, the second goes down. Yeah. So in that case also, what you do? This is the mean position. You will draw the x1. So let us say this is a0 1 2 is this one, and let us say a0 2 2 is negative number, so down, right? So this is here a0 2 2. Then you join it, and then you get a node here. Again, phase, if you see the phase will be the same. Phase meaning that omega t, that really means if this is 0, x1 is 0, x2 is also 0. So this will be like this one. But after omega t, it moves by 180 degrees. So after that, this comes here. So then this will go up. So again, what you see, this node is maintained. Yeah, so this is what we call it node, right? In this case. But in this case, what? One coordinate is up, the other is down. So this is moving like this, right? So the mode of vibration will be like this one. Why? Because eigenvectors have different sign. Because of that, it will be like that. The first case, if the eigenvectors had the same sign, both will go up and down. So like this, right? Maybe the different value. One goes little bit, other goes high. But coming down also, one will travel less, the other will travel more. So one will be all traveling more. Yeah. Okay. Now let us say it's possible that the first example, when we are moving like this one little bit, the other goes much more up, right? Then when coming down, the second one goes much more down. That means second mode, the second coordinate is predominant, right? Then we call that the x2 is predominant. Means first one is just moving little bit, but the second one is moving a lot. That you know. How do you know? By the ratio. So if the ratio is, for example, I will replace this one. So how do you know? You have two values, right? So you have A0, 1 divided by A0, 2, 1. 1 means the omega 1, basically, right? 0, 1, 0, 2 means this is x1, this is x2. Depending on the value, if x1 is, if let us say, much larger than 1, really means what? It really means that A01 is much larger than A02. That really means x1 is much larger than x2. So x1 is predominant. That's what it tells. Yeah? Got it? In this, I'm talking in terms of x1, x2, but you may have the ratio in terms of one may be just upward, downward, second will be just maybe the angular one, right? Although I'm explaining in terms of x1, x2 right now, but coordinate system, this A02 may be the amplitude of the angular displacement, right? So in that case, the ratio, whichever ratio is large out of the two, you have to compare two of them. So you have for omega 1, you have this one. For omega 2, you have another ratio, A011, A012 here, and A022 here. So this 2 is for omega 2, right? Let's say both of them have different units, right? Then one represents the first coordinate, x, let us say x1, that represents just vertical displacement. A second x2 represents a, let us say, angular displacement. Then ratio has no meaning there, right? The ratio has no meaning, meaning that you cannot say much greater than 1 and 2 because units, depending on the units, the value could be some anything. In that case, what do? You compare two of them. So let us say for first one, you have equal to A, and for second one equal to B. Now you can compare like this. If A is much larger than B, meaning that what? That really means in this case, x1 is dominant, right? X1 is dominant, we will say, right? X1 dominant because why? Because ratio A01 to A02 in this case is bigger than this one. That means x1 is dominating in this case, and hence you say x1 is dominant, right? And since this ratio x1 over x2 is less here, that means x2 is dominant, right? So in this case, this will be x2 is dominant, right? In that case, you will call it predominant जो भी, yeah. So you got that? You got it or not? Aditi? These are your
Yes, sir.
questions. So, yeah, again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, nice. Okay, any other doubt, guys? If you understand the physical meaning, everything is basically clear. So you have to understand the physical meaning, and for that, just watching video will not help. This is just the beginning, basically. More problem you solve, more doubt clearance you have, you will learn more. As I said, this course has a lot of insight, basically insight based. You can see basically something is going on, right? So just by remembering the equations and all, it will not help. Any other doubt about the online videos, video lectures, or the problems?
Uh, so in the same question, I had one more doubt in the direction of normal modes, in the positioning of nodes.
Yeah. What
I was
doubt you
not
have?
able to, sir, I was not able to get that if theta is 1, we are taking theta as 1, then how are they positioning the node as 4.78 to the left or right? How are they deciding that? And
Acha, okay.
also,
Okay. And then?
and so why are they doing it horizontally? Is the x coordinate is vertical displacement. So why are they positioning it left or right?
Okay. 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 So okay. Now let's have the problem, and okay. So similar problem. We have to write. While explaining this one, let us also solve the problem. So solve the problem means at least set up the equations and go from there. Yeah. So your question is something like 524, and this is 5.23. So this one is ebook, and this is ebook. This is paperback. Okay. Okay. Now, so basically, here there is a car. So this problem is basically turns out something like this one. There is a bar like this one. Like here is the center of mass, and here there is one spring, and there is another spring here, and then we have a K1 here, K2 here, and from here to here it's L1. Here to here, this is L2. Yeah. Okay. And then you have here mass M. So this is like this one. Yeah. And then we have to solve. Says normal modes of vibration. You have to find normal modes of vibrations is one. Second thing, we have to find out locate the node. Locate the node. Okay. Yeah. So here the values are given. Okay, so value you can put all those values are given. So I'm not going to even the radius of gyration is given. So all those given. I will just write given which all things M, K1, K2, L1, L2, and R. R is radius of gyration. So this is J equal to mr square. So basically R is also given. Yeah. Okay. Now so basically next what do we have to do? We have to write the equation. Equation you can write two ways. Either you can write x1, x2. Yeah, you can say one coordinate this one, x1, another coordinate is x2. You can write like this one, or you can set up it as the two things, like how much, what is the vertical displacement, so y and theta, and how much it has turned, basically, right? Rotation. So two coordinate system. So this is your choice. Either you can have just two vertical displacement, x1 and x2, right? Based on that you can solve. That's one choice. Second is you just look at the center of mass and see how much up it has gone and how much it has rotated. So it is your choice what you want to do. Yeah, both way you can actually do it. Okay. So in your book probably you have y and in theta terms, and that also makes it easier also. But first one, if you assume this x1 and x2, in that case also it's not that it's wrong. Yeah, it is the same. You will get the same equation, but in terms of x1 and x2, and not in terms of the y, which is for the center of mass. Yeah. So this relates I will write at center of mass, right? Center of mass. So this is C, basically you can like this. Yeah. Okay. How will you find out the equations? Always remember, in all the equations, physics very important. If you cannot get the equations right, that means all your efforts gone in vain. Yeah. So always you have to write equation nicely. Yeah. I mean, it should be correct. So now this point has one vertical displacement which is equal to y, and then we have rotation here. So basically from here we get like this one, like this. Yeah. So we have like this, and this point is center of mass, and this has gone up by, say, y. These are like the original position, and from here it goes up by y, and then this angle that is mixed with this one, this is also theta, got by theta also. Yeah. If that is the case, then you can write the equation. How do you write the equation? This was the original one, right? So you have to first find out what is the stretching in these springs. Yeah. So this will be equal to simply this will be equal to how much it has gone up. So this gone up like this one plus rotation above this point C. There are two things, right? One will be like it's a parallel, it's horizontal only, but it has gone up, and then you have rotated like this. So actually the whole thing can be given in parts, basically, right? So accordingly we can have, in this case, if it has gone up by y, then stretching here, both of them will stretch, and hence the force in this case will be k1 times y, and here also will be k1 times y. Now what you are doing? Now you are rotating like this one. So when you rotate, then this point will come down, and the other point will go up. This point will come down, this one. By how much? This will come down by L1 times theta will come down. This part will go up by L1 times L2 times theta. It will go up. Okay. So in that case, what happens? How much the extra the force will be applied in this case? Now, if that is the case, if let us say you have just a bar here and you have a spring which is unstretched like this one, and then you are rotating like this one, what you will see? This will compress, right? By doing that, this will be compressed, this end, hence the force will be upward. And how much? Will be equal to K1 times L1 theta, which will be upward. And here, this will stretch, right? This will stretch. So stretching, when you are stretching, it will forces down, right? So this is going to downward force. And what will be the value? This will be K2 times L1 times theta, right? You can also, it makes sense that in the force, that these two forces will be of opposite direction. But in the first one, this is not the same direction because the movement is upward. So both the spring will resist the movement, right? So hence both of them will be down. Here, movement is purely rotational. So there will be a torque. So both of them will oppose. So they can oppose only when both have different direction. And hence you see, we are doing like this one, and hence the force will oppose that torque. Hence this will be downward, this will be upward. And here this might make sense. So total force as such, if you look at this one, rotated one, we get like this. So we can write the upward force will be, here it will be K1 L1 theta and then minus K1y, because this is upward, this is downward, this is upward, this is downward, K1y. Now here both of them downward, yeah. So your force is basically both of them downward. So you can write like this also. So we have K2 L1 theta plus K1y. Sorry, this will be K2y, not K1, K2. So you have K2y. Okay. So this is what this will be, yeah. And then here, this, do you have any other force applied? There is no other force applied, and hence now you can formulate your equations. So first, this force is K1 L1 theta minus K1y. This is K2 L1 theta plus K2y. But remember, this is downward. This is up. This is how we could have done downward also here. If we write K1y minus K1 L1 theta, so then you can also write downward. So these are the force. Now we don't need like any of these. Okay, so we are going to get rid of all those things. Yeah. Okay. Now, if this is the thing, then next thing will be writing the equation. And how do you write? First thing will be force in y direction will be 0 or 0 in static. Okay, soil mechanics we did. But here, as you know, this will be my double dot. Okay? So this is Newton's second law of motion. So upward force is what? Upward force is K1 L1 theta minus K1 y, then minus K2 L1 theta minus K2 y is equal to upward force is m, and then you have y double dot. Yeah, and hence you will get equation from here. And what equation? You get m y double dot, right? And then you get in terms of y, right? And then you get both of them goes that side. So plus K1 plus K2, and then you have y. Yeah. So this 2 is done. Then plus you have K2 L1, right? Minus K2 L1 minus K1 L1 Yeah, so this become minus, this becomes plus, times theta equal to 0. So we get the first equation like that. Yeah. We have coordinate y and theta. Now second one, we know that the second will come from the theta rotation part, and the rotation is you have the force, the moment, which is we have to calculate the moment basically, and moment is which way? Since the coordinate is theta is anti-clockwise, so we have to see the forces. So all the, let's say, all the moments about center of mass, this is C, right? C is equal to J theta double dot, right? Okay. Now, moment about C basically, right? So the moment about C is what? So just see this one, yeah? So basically we get minus, we have K2 L1 theta plus K2 Y, okay, times this value, lever is L2, right? L2, that's first one, and this lever also. So this one, since this is clockwise, hence this is negative. Similarly, this one is also clockwise, hence negative. So minus K1 L1 theta minus K1 Y times L1, okay, and will be equal to J times theta double. Yeah, and hence you get another equations, and another equation will be J theta double dot, okay, and then plus, and here you get K1 L1 plus K2, okay. Here guys, I think K2 should be K2 L1. No, I said it should be L2. Okay, so K2 L2, K1 L1. So K2 L2 has to be K2 L2. So K1 L1. Okay, so J theta double dot plus K1 L1 plus K2 L2. Then you have theta. So theta terms will be there. Then y term. So you have K2 L2, and then plus minus becomes plus, the minus term minus K1 L1 times y equal to 0. So you got two equations. One equation is this one, and second equation is this one. Okay? And we got in terms of theta and y. Yeah. So now once you got the equation, you can write it in terms of the matrix form, and hence we will write like this. So we have first one is this ones, you have M 0 0 J, right? And then here you have got y double dot, then you have theta double dot is equal to, and then you have a matrix, let's start, and you have y, so K1 plus K2 term will be there, and then you have K2 L1 minus K1 L1, sorry, the K2, here is K2 L2, it has to be L2. Okay. Done. So here it will be K2 L2 minus K1 L1. Okay. Now here will be this term. So we have y and theta term. So here y term is here, and then theta term is here. Okay. In this case, y term is here. So you have K2 L2 minus K1 L1. Notice both of them are same basically. Yeah, so it also should be symmetric. and then you have this one, K1 L1 plus K2 L2. Yeah.
We have to multiply the dimensions also. Like for moment, we'll have to multiply in theta part.
Not necessarily. This is not required. Why do you think that that is required? Why do you think that is required?
So kx is the displacement, and the distance also we need to take.
Sorry, say again.
So for moment, force into
Here it will be
distance.
plus.
So for moment, we take force into distance. So
Okay.
kx is the force, k L1 theta, k1 L1 theta. Then distance.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You got it right. Yes. So somewhere we have L1 square. You have, right. So see here we have L1 here. So we missed this one. We had that, but we missed it. So yeah, you are right. In the equation we have that. So J theta double dot plus K1 K1 L1 K1. So first one, let us see the theta term. So we have K1 L1. So K1 L1 square. Yeah. And then for this one, from second part, we have K2 L2 square. Okay. So we had there, but I missed it. Similarly, Y term, we have K2 L2. Okay. And then we have, okay. So this will go this side. So K2 L2 is correct, and this minus this minus plus minus K1 L1 will be like this one. So yeah, you are right. So here we have to make accordingly. So why not J theta? Here we get from the second equation the Y term K2 L2 minus K1 L1, and there we have K1 L1 square and K L2 square. Is it correct now? Okay. So this plus this will be equal to 0. So we formulate like this one. Okay. Now the earlier whatever I explained about the nodes were in terms of x1 and y1, right? So if you know the values of y and theta, now you can do all the operations. You can find out omega 1, omega 2 from here, right? From the eigenvalue problem, you can. So this is M matrix. This one is K matrix, and then you go ahead and you do this, right? K minus omega square M take determinant equal to 0, and this will give you omega 1 and omega 2, right? So these values it will give you, right? And from there, it will also give you the coordinates. I mean, your values for this, the amplitude of this and this, amplitude of this one, right? Okay. Now, once you have those amplitude of y and theta, now you can relate with x1 and x2 that we considered earlier, right? In order to make the node, you have to convert that into x1 and x2, right? Otherwise, you will not know where exactly it is meeting, right? So how much this has moved, how much that is moved, yeah? Or you can write, you can also write in terms of y and theta also, but you have to see in that case. Anyway, so how to relate y and theta? So let's see. So this is the equation, and in order to make the node, you have to do say this is the which is the horizontal, and then it has gone. Let us say this is the original lesson. From here, this has first travel to this one. So this is what the y is, and after that this is point C, and from here it has gone like this. So this is made theta from here. So this is y, this is theta. In equal term, here our x2 will be equal to simply y plus L1 theta will be x2, right? And what will be this one? Y, the x1, our x1 will be simply y minus it will be L2, L1 theta. Y gone up, and then because of rotation, L1 by L1 theta, it comes down. So our coordinate, if we have the coordinate x1 and x2 there, so x1 we write in terms of y like this and like this one. Yes? This will tell you how the two nodes are moving. One goes here, then other goes here, right? Or one goes here, the other goes here, and hence you join them and you get the node. Yeah, got it? Then you can do all the things that I explained in the beginning. Once you have iterated with x1 and x2, then you can physically visualize how these 2 points are moving. Accordingly, in one mode, you will see that the point will be somewhere not in between these 2 points, but towards one of them, right? Towards either towards k1 side or towards k2 side. You will see that depending on which one is moving less. The one which moves less, lower than the other, less than the other, that side will be the node most likely, right? If one point is not moving at all, then node will be at that point only. If one spring is not moving at all, it's just lying there, the other is moving, that means node is at that point only. So the one which moves less, the node will be towards that. Got it? Did you get it, Aditi?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now it's clear.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So next question. Okay. Question 420 from ebook. Okay. Just a minute. Let me see. Okay, so this is question 4/20th of that 4.20. Yeah, so this relates to the ebook. Both of them have the same number basically. Yeah, paperback. Yeah, so both of them have the same number. Okay, so what is the question? The question is an undamped spring mass system with weight. So W is given, W is weight equal to 72 Newton, hence M equal to W over G. You can find out whatever the value. Has a natural period of 0.5. Natural period. So omega N is equal to 0.5 second. Sorry, the natural period. So T. Okay. So T is given. T is equal to 0.5 second. Hence omega N will be 2 pi over T. Right. So 2 pi over 0.5 second, and hence you get 4 pi. Right. Okay. So next is it is subjected to a impulse of 9 Newton second. So your impulse is impulse given, or we F hat we call, right? So F hat is equal to 9 Newton second, has a triangular shape with time duration of this. So you have like this triangular, something like this, and with a time duration like this one, 0.40 second. Okay. Determine the displacement of the mass. Okay. So 0.4 second is the duration, and then you have to just like this. Yeah. And this is 9 Newton second. So accordingly, you can find out what is the height, right? So height will be, you know, the area. The area is equal to this one, right? So equal to half times 0.4 times height h. This one, right? This height, let's call it f naught. Yeah, call it f naught. Okay, so f naught, and hence you will get f naught equal to 9 divided by this multiply 0.2, say you get 0.2, right? So this is what f naught you will get equal to this Newton. Yeah. Okay. The maximum displacement of the mass, and then it says maximum displacement equal to what? This is okay. 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 So once you have that, then you have to go back, and we have to actually look at how you solve it, right? And how you solve it. You remember, if you have, if this is a triangle, and then you have to consider for each of them. So let us say at this point, which is at time tau, right? At time tau here, then what is the amplitude of that? That you have to find out. Right? In other words, the solution. So this is given. We know all those things, which all things are given from here. Since we know that omega n is given like this one, so that really means we know k over m, root k over m. You know that omega n we get from here. Now m is given also, so then you can find out k also, right? So given this data, it really tells us that for this system we have k is given and m is also given, right? So for us, what is that if this is a force, this is a spring mass system, and there is a force which is of this nature, which is applied here. The force goes up and down. So although impulse, it is telling you the impulse is given like this one, but actually it is telling you how the force is varying with time. This is what it's telling you. Yeah, so this is as good. This is as good as any other kind of force. right? Any other kind of force, whether it's the step input or triangle, or you have this ramp input, the same thing. Actually, in this case, what is this? This actually is a ramp. If you have to write the equation of that, how will you write? You will write, here it is F naught, and here from here to here it's a 0.2. So basically, this force F is given by F naught, right, divided by 0.2 and multiplied by time t, right? So that at t equals 0.2, you get the maximum force. So this is how it varies here. So this, you write the equation of that. So F equal to F naught divided by 0.2 times t, and this one, accordingly you can write the equation of that. So equation of that will be F naught, right? So you have F naught, and then after that it goes down. How? Minus, and this remains the same, F naught over t. So I guess this will be something like F naught over 0.2, and then you have t minus 0.2, something like this, right? So that when t equals 0.2, you have F naught, and when t equal to t equal to 0.4, and you have 0.2 here. So F naught is so here F is like this. So you first of all, you have to find out the equation of the force itself. So if equation of the force is F equal to F naught over 0.2 t here, and here you have F equal to F naught minus F naught over 0.2 t minus 0.2. Okay. Once you have that, next you are going to solve it. Okay. So how to solve it? Rest you have to apply the equations, right? The equation, and how to apply the equation? Okay. So you have to remember the convolution equation. This x t is equal to, you have remember we had F naught, or actually for 1 you have just 1 only, so 1 over, we get m omega n, right? And then we had 0 to t, and then we had f tau, then we had sine, okay, and sine value we had omega n, and we had t minus tau, and then we had d tau. So this, yeah, is it correct? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you had this equation. Now thing is, you have this equation here, or also you had once you know that, where you can write is where f t is equal to f naught or f tau. You can also write f tau. F naught over 0.2 t for t greater than 0 and less than 0.2 equal to f naught minus f naught over 0.2 t minus 0.2 for t less than equal to 0.4 more than 0.2. Now this is your problem that has to be solved, and from there you solve it. This you have to break it into 2 parts now. So this will be equal to, you say, 1 over m omega n 0 to t, and then you have f naught, t will be here 0.2, right? Then f naught 0.2 times t dt, sorry, t sine omega n t minus tau d tau, right? Okay, and then this will be, okay, remember that when you are writing this, you have to be careful. This will be t equal to this equal to this plus t, you do equal to like this one for t less than 0.2. So if you have to find out xt, then t is less than 0.2, the first one only is applicable, right? Because t is less than 0.02. So hence you will have like this only. Yes? For more than now for xt equal to 1 over m omega n, then 0 to 0.2 f naught 0.2 t sine omega n t minus tau d tau. This equal to this much plus 1 over m omega n, then 0.2 to t f naught, then you have to write f naught minus f naught over 0.2. The t means in this case it will be tau only, so you have to write tau here. This is tau. Okay, so times tau, and then sine omega n t minus tau d tau for, this is really for t less than 0.4 and greater than greater than 0.2. For this will be the equation which will be the valid one. And the for t greater than 0.2, the value will be, so xt will be equal to 1 over m omega n. So 0.2 f naught 0.2 tau sine omega n t minus tau d tau plus 1 over m omega n, then 0 to 0.4 f naught then you have the 0.4 and then f naught minus f naught over 0.2 times tau then sine omega n t minus tau d theta d tau. This will be for t greater than 0.4. Okay, the idea is t, depending on the t equation will change, because if t is less than 0.2, that really means you have not completed. See, the force is like this one, and you are finding out the response right here when the force has not completed actually here. So in that case, whatever you have to just see all the impulses before this one be only responsible, right? All these responsible. That's why you have the first equation. When t is less than 0.2, then you have limit 0.0 to t. Only this force will be there, and then sine omega n t minus tau, and then you have to integrate till this time. So first time this, if t is here, so then only this equation will be valid. The second one has not started yet, so no point. This is in future. So effect of this cannot come from the future, right? So you are in present. So since this is the first one is only applicable, hence you have 0 to t and if not over 0.2, this will be tau. F tau, so if not 0.2 tau term. Now, if you are here, then this is already finished. Effect of this already, the effect of this will be carry on. Although this RAM part here is finished already, this effect is already, still it is being felt here. And hence you will have the first part, you will have 0.0.2, it has completed. The effect will be felt in terms of t. Since t is there, you are integrating in terms of tau, but t term is there. So automatically that the effect, this will bring the effect from the past basically because of this triangular region. So you have this one plus whatever t is here. So whatever you have till here, so from here to here, the effect because of all impulses till here due to the second triangle will be felt. Hence you have this, but 0.22 t, where t is less than 0.4. So hence both of them will be there, but here this will be t. The third one, both have completed. Your t is somewhere here now, right? Here now. So all completed. So hence the first will be 0.0.2, second this will be 0.2 to 0.4. Okay. Limit 0.2 to 0.4, and that's it. After that, force is 0. So there is no force to actually have any effect. So integration, just to integration, yeah, and that is all. And the effect will be felt anyway because of the t. The t term is here in both of them. That effect will be there. Now, if you have to find out the maximum value, how will you find out? Maximum value, basically, you have to actually solve all of them to find out which one. Most likely it will be because of the third one. Because force you have, and since this is just 0.4 second, the maximum value will be somewhere like this will start going like this, and the maximum value will be somewhere here. You know? But again, you have to make sure. So you have to solve all of them and see how xt looks like. And among them, whatever is the maximum value, you calculate from there. So that's how we will go about it. Divyansu, is it, you got it?
Yes, sir. And sir, value of F naught we can calculate by just considering the area equal to impulse.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Yes. That's why it's given like that. True. Okay. Any other doubt? Divyansu, any other doubt, man?
Sir, actually, yes, sir, one more question. In book, I saw some example where some base excitation is given for some undamped spring mass system, and where basically, I mean, let's say consider like base excitation is 20 minus 100 t. There is actually it's a tutorial question. So there they have considered 20 into what is step function. So I mean, I didn't get the point. I mean, why we consider the step function for such such time varying base excitations?
So that the base, can you give me repeat the base excitation formula is what? Ft equal to
Sir, sir, you can refer the question number 410, same tutorial.
410. Okay. Just a minute. 410 of ebook, right? Yeah, got it. So
Yes, sir.
yeah, okay. So y dot is given, right? So y dot t is equal to 10 1 minus 2t. This is what it is given. So what is your doubt?
Sir, now this is for a undamped spring mass system. So we can write a equation like x double dot plus omega n square k is equal to minus f naught by m, and f naught by m we can write as a differentiation of this base excitation with respect to time.
Okay. So basically this okay. So just see here. So we have this kind of system where we have x like this one and y like this one, right? That's what it is. Undamped, so there is no damper. So we have just like this one. your equation will be finally, this is m like this, so m x double dot plus kx equal to ky. This is what the equation will be. You agree with me? Equation will be simply like mx double dot plus kx equal to ky. This will be the equation. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Then tell me like what is your doubt? You are saying how to solve it?
Sir, actually, for the first part, they have considered everywhere 10 into ut, that is unit step function. So
Okay.
during Laplace applying, it becomes 1 by s. So how they have done that?
Okay. So this one y dot. Okay. First of all, if you want to solve it, how to solve it? Okay, that I'm going to tell. Okay. So somehow there is communication gap. Looks like I'm not able to understand what you are saying. But if you plot it, how it will look like? You see, this is a velocity. Remember, it's a velocity. Yeah, and hence the Laplace transform it has ut term. That you are saying. Okay, so whenever you have ut term like a step input, unit step input, that to indicate that time starts at 0. This is to indicate that. So you can ignore because t for you always starts at 0. So you can replace that with 1 and you are all right. You got it? You can do like that. So this you can also write 10, then ut minus 2t, you can write like that. Yes. Okay, so how to solve it, that I'm going to tell. Okay, so in order to solve this one, you take Laplace transform here. Okay, so what you get m, then you get x s times s square minus x naught s minus x dot naught s, right? You get like this one plus k x s equal to, you get from here k, then ys, you get like that. Yeah. Now in this case, you can assume that at t equal to 0, t equal to 0, the values x not equal to 0, x dot not equal to 0, you can assume like that. And hence what you get is m s square plus k s times xs equal to k ys, and xs will be k ys divided by ms square plus ks, like this one. Now only thing is ys, how to find out the ys. If you know the capital ys, then you will find. Now for doing that, what you are going to do is this will be 10. One, you can take it as, you can write ut directly because you know that this is valid for t greater than 0. Yeah. So at t equal to 0, this will your all calculations start from t equal to 0. So you can write, instead of 1, you can write ut basically. So then how do you get this value? You get y s, right? Ys times s minus you get y0, yeah, minus y0, that's what you get here. Okay, equal to 10, and then you have ut, or simply constant here, you get 1 over s because of that. Yes, is that correct? Yeah, and then you get minus 2, and for t you get 1 over s square. So you get like this one. Yeah. This you will assume it as equal to 0, since this is not given here. Okay, so then you can find out ys equal to will be equal to 10, then 1 over s square minus 2 over s cube. This will be ys. So you come here, you write k over m s square plus ks and multiplied by this. So you have multiplied 10 here and then 1 over s square minus 2 s cube. Now you have to solve this. You will get that. Is okay? Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir. So, sir, but yes, sir, that's the thing that I was asking about the UT. I mean, if we have a such question, then we can consider UT for the case when we know that we need to apply the Laplace thing in these equations.
Yeah, you can. By default, you can.
And if it is not done by the Laplace, then we can't assume U of t.
You can also assume. Still, you can assume. This is basically, see here. What is the meaning of UT? UT just meaning that at t equal to 0, there is a step input like this one. Yeah. So you are starting. In real life, it's like that only, right? So there is a spring mass system, and you have to apply a force, constant force. So at some point of time, you have to start, no? So that means typically what you at that time also your time starts. So hence UT basically we are giving UT only because time for us it's not that time is universal. For us typically we start the time when we apply the force, right? So hence actually UT in fact this is UT only because at t equal to 0 minus 1 this force was not there, right? And hence actually the meaning it is the same meaning. You can put that even if you are solving the other way also, you can take it at UT, as you know that UT equal to 0 when t is negative, and for you typically never take t equal to negative, right? So almost always it will be a constant only. Almost means always it will be constant only.
So, sir, it means, sir, whatever you said, it means like here we know that from time t equal to 0, we have applied some excitation. It means there is no time lag between the excitation.
Exactly.
So, sir, so why we can't assume that it may be a ramp function also?
Maybe a ramp function also.
Instead of UT.
No. Why ramp function, man? Ramp is this one. This is ramp. Ramp will have t term there. Ramp means with time it is increasing with time. Constant means with time it's a constant. Here 2t. Here you see 2t term. This is a ramp.
Yes, I got it.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Any other question? Any other question,
No,
Aditi?
Sir, last doubt. Actually, what I was asking that, I mean, in the tutorial question that we have practiced till now, most of the questions are like that. Where we need to drive such equations, and after that we will integrate and differentiate and all of these things. So these type of question, if these type of question will be asked in the exam, then how we can do these questions with a very small limited time frame? Because like in objective, or you can say whatever like we can consider the quiz one. So there also, I mean, if this type of question will be there, then how we can drive the equation and after that find the maximum displacement and all that.
Yeah. So see here, I'm going to take care of all those things. Meaning that I'm going to check the insight, how much insight you have. The question mostly it will be something like in last quiz also. Like if you had insight, lot of questions were like okay, the value will be answer will be 0, right? For few calculation was to be done, but little bit calculation. So like that. So I have to take care of. So basically, I will design accordingly. So you don't have to worry about. What you have to do is see all the lectures, do the problems. That's what. That way you will build the insight and you will be able to answer it. So good students will never face a problem. And as I told earlier, I'm also going to scale it, so that it's also basically, I mean, lot of complaints will be taken care of automatically. Yeah. So derivation and all those things were required. Accordingly, I will frame a question such a way is derivation important, then will be like that. Or I may split the questions. Some question will just put derivation, the other derivation is given already. From there, you have to go ahead like that. Got it? So I may check differently. Like I will check whether a student is able to do derivation or not. Right? The second, given the equation, whether somebody is able to find out the omega n or not, or given the equation, somebody is able to find out some other things or not, like this one. So I will divide into parts so that just looking at the thing and you're able to answer. So don't worry about all those. Got it?
And sir,
Yes, sir.
so in fifth question, so in fifth chapter also, then it's asked to find the natural frequencies. Then so the equation becomes very long.
Okay. So fifth question.
No, not fifth question. In fifth chapter, in general equations to find the angular frequencies. So
Okay.
in that the equations become so long. So sir,
Okay.
how can we manage that part? Because we'll not be able to solve it even if we scale them down.
So is it related to the question you asked earlier? In the same one, it appears like that. So which question exactly you are talking about? Is the same question that you asked doubt, like you emailed me?
So that question also, and tutorial second question. In that
Tutorial
natural
second
frequencies
question.
here. Yes, sir.
Okay, so
I think it's that
second
only.
question. So like equation, can you tell the problem number? Is that five?
No, so same question that I asked. Same question.
Okay, same question. Okay,
Same question.
okay.
23rd.
Okay. So 23rd. So basically, what you are saying is it takes a lot of time. The equations are there, and hence it takes a lot of time. That's what you are saying, right? So
Yes, sir.
yeah. So what I would say in that case is probably good idea to put the values first. So if the values are given, put the values first, and that way it will be the equation will be quadratic equation, and you can solve the quadratic equation, and you can get omega fast basically. Yeah, for 23rd only, all values are there already, right? M is given, K1, K2, all values are given. So what you have to do is put all the values to begin with. So in the mass matrix, it will be given. In the Stephenson matrix, the values will be given. The rest will be the finding out the quadratic equation will be there that you have to solve. The quadratic equation can be solved if you have numerical values. It's easier to solve that way. That's what I can say. Basically, so the problems, vibration problems, this could be the complicated ones. But as I said earlier, while setting questions, I have to make sure all those things. So I will also solve myself also, right? Whether students are able to solve or not. So system will be given such a way that for the given time they should be able to solve it. But for doing that, you have to actually basically do practice. Then you will know, okay, how it can be solved like that. Where if I find in some way finding out omega 1, omega 2 is difficult, so in that case, I will give the easy question regarding that. So all those things will be taken care of. That's what I'm saying. So don't worry. As long as you know how to do it, you will be able to do it. And my idea is to not the gaze the ability of like crunching the number fast. So it's not like it's not a cat exam. So this is more like whether you have the concept. So numbers could be easy numbers. Just I will check whether you are able to actually apply or not. The equation may be simpler or like that. Yeah. So basically, like I have to be the judge, and accordingly, like I will prepare questions. Yeah,
Okay,
got it?
sir.
Yeah.
Sir, and there is one more request.
Yeah.
For the questions that involve zeta and all, the terms, the symbols basically. So in
Hmm.
that, can you please consider like giving the pictorial equations? Because in latex, it's having issues. Sir, if you can for the time being.
Yeah, pictorial only thing is it is going to make a lot of time, so that's the thing. Pictorial is fine, but in pictures also I'm not sure it will work fine or not. So but I will see. Okay, so what I can do
Okay.
probably, I will put some symbols and all those things, just for a checking. I will just set up a small where you can check whether symbols are working or not. Yeah, something like that we can do, so that you can check it, and if all right, then I can use the latex. Otherwise I will not use. Maybe I will just write text. I will write instead of writing a Greek phi, I will just in English write phi, like that probably.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, but pictures will be difficult. Pictures, that so many symbols, it will be lot of time consuming, so I will not do that probably. But I will try to have, or maybe the whole equation in pictures, you may mean probably. So in that case, yeah, okay. So then I will see that. But I think I
Yes,
will
sir.
test it
Because
first. Yeah.
so because few
So
days
so
back,
most,
IT section had
yeah, yeah.
organized a quiz
Uh-huh.
to check whether the children are able to see or not. So one representation was there. They said it pictorial, but it was not actually picture. So that sort, if it the teachers are able to do, then it would be helpful.
Okay. So it's a pictorial, but it's not a picture. There's some setting, you mean.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. I will ask the like IT section regarding that. However, I think it may be just the browser issue. So if you change the browser, it will be all right probably. So I think like if you have a Firefox and all, probably it's better. So here
Yes,
I
sir.
am
I had
using.
seen that. Sir,
So
actually,
just
right. Uh, okay, sir.
so just try with different browsers, it will be all right. But I was also facing problem with Chrome and the other one, but I think the Firefox is the best. This is my experience this way. So you can also try different one, that way it will work. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Any other issues? Any other doubt?
Sir, what I'm saying that it will be better to have one more tutorial session for the chapter number 5 before a quiz.
Okay. You mean tomorrow? You mean or next week? Okay,
Sir, next.
next. Okay, next week we will have two probably. I will see. Okay, so you can see a tutorial. Although I'm seeing that like it comes after sending tutorial, doesn't mean that you have to ask only from that. So next week also, I think let student study. I think a lot of doubt they will have. So and then next week we will have two tutorials probably. We will see. Yeah, fine.
But sir, I think there will be our other another subject quizzes like 28,
Oh
20,
yeah,
and 30.
that's true.
So,
Ha ha.
I mean,
So,
how
so,
we
so
will
when do you
manage
want?
the tutorial along with our quizzes.
Yeah, okay. So, so on weekend maybe we'll try. Is okay if everybody agrees.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
I
yes, sir,
think
we can.
I think weekend will be best in that case. Because I also want others to actually study, so that they can follow all those things. Uh, tomorrow it will not be so useful. Today also I think a lot of students did not attend, and they left early also. So I don't know why, but I think let them all study, and then on maybe on a weekend, maybe on Sunday we can organize one. Yeah.
Yes, yes, sir. It will be
Okay.
better.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay then. Okay. See you.